When Nosferatu first graced the screen, in 1922, it didn't just redefine the horror genre, it birthed it. F.W. Murnau's silent masterpiece remains, a landmark in cinematic history, a chilling symphony of shadow and terror. The original Nosferatu became a masterpiece of German expressionism and laid the foundations for the genre of vampire films. The original film had a complicated legal history. The creators were unable to officially use Bram Stoker's plot due to his widow's refusal to sell the rights. However, the surviving copies allowed the film to become famous. Now, in 2024, director Robert Eggers has dared to revisit this hallowed ground. His Nosferatu isn't merely a retelling, it's an atmospheric homage, drenched in the gothic and steeped in reverence for the original. Eggers recreates the eerie magic of the past while imbuing it with modern cinematic techniques, making this version a bridge between 2 centuries of horror filmmaking. The painting stylistically restores the work of Caspar David Friedrich, a German painter and landscape painter, one of the key European artists of the 19th century, but contains fewer innovative and frightening elements that were characteristic of the original.
I swear. Oh. 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 Oh.
The Nosferatu 2024 continues the tradition of reworking the cult silent film of 1922. This time, the audience gets an almost verbatim repetition of the plot, but with modern visual solutions and an emphasis on atmosphere. The story takes place in 1838, with detailed costumes and decorations creating an oppressive atmosphere in a pale blue and set gray palette. The story begins with Thomas Hutter, played by Nicholas Hoult, a real estate agent tasked with traveling to Transylvania to finalize a deal with the mysterious Count Orlok. Despite his wife Ellen's, Lily Rose Depp, desperate pleas for him to stay, Hutter embarks on this fateful journey. Orlok, of course, is no ordinary client. His otherworldly presence and sinister intentions soon become apparent, leading to a deadly game of survival as the horrors of his vampiric nature unfold. Eggers retains the skeletal framework of the original while adding layers of psychological tension and moral ambiguity, crafting a narrative that feels both familiar and freshly unnerving.
Come to me. Come to me.
Each actor in Nosferatu brings their own flair to the story's iconic characters. Nicholas Hoult, as Thomas Hutter, embodies the naivety and determination of a man out of his depth. Hoult captures Hutter's gradual unraveling, shifting from confident agent to a desperate survivor, showcasing his range as an actor. Lily Rose Depp as Ellen provides a haunting and ethereal presence. Her portrayal balances vulnerability with quiet strength, making Ellen a more complex and compelling character than in previous versions. Depp's ability to convey Ellen's internal struggle and unspoken fears is particularly striking. Willem Dafoe as Professor von Franz is a standout, delivering a performance that mixes eccentricity with gravitas. Dafoe imbues von Franz with an aura of wisdom and danger, a man who knows more than he lets on. His chemistry with the rest of the cast brings an additional layer of depth to the story. Supporting roles like Aaron Taylor-Johnson as the stoic yet mysterious local villager and Emma Corrin as Ellen's empathetic confidant add texture to the narrative. Each actor contributes to the film's rich tapestry, though some supporting characters could have been given more screen time to fully realize their potential.
I've never shared my secret with any soul.
You've had these spells since childhood. Tell me what you can from the beginning.
At the heart of Nosferatu lies Count Orlok, played by Bill Skarsgård. Unlike previous iterations, Skarsgård's Orlok is a grotesque amalgamation of the undead, a being more monstrous than man. Eggers and Skarsgård eschew the romanticism often associated with cinematic vampires, opting instead for a primal, almost feral portrayal. The result is a creature that is both terrifying and tragic, a being cursed to exist, on the fringes of humanity. Skarsgård's performance is transformative, though the heavy prosthetics occasionally obscure the nuances of his expressions. Eggers' Nosferatu excels in several areas, starting with its stunning visual style. The film's cold, desaturated palette, dominated by shades of gray and blue, perfectly captures the bleakness of its gothic setting. The meticulous attention to period detail, from costumes to architecture, immerses viewers in the 19th century. The score, composed by Mark Corvin, is another highlight. Corvin blends traditional orchestral elements with unsettling, discordant tones, creating an auditory experience that lingers long after the credits roll. The sound design, with its eerie whispers and unsettling silences, adds to the film's oppressive atmosphere. Eggers' direction is precise, balancing slow-burn tension with moments of visceral horror. His use of light and shadow pays homage to Murnau's original, while feeling innovative in its own right. The pacing, while deliberate, allows the story to build to a crescendo of dread, making the eventual horror all the more impactful. While Nosferatu 2024 has much to admire, it's not without its flaws. The film's reliance on jump scares feels out of place in a story that thrives on atmosphere and psychological tension. These moments, while effective, in the short term, detract from the film's overall tone. The character development, particularly for some of the supporting roles, feels uneven. While Hutter, Ellen, and von Franz are given room to shine, others remain underdeveloped, leaving viewers wanting more. Additionally, the film's dialogue occasionally leans into melodrama, which can feel at odds with its otherwise grounded approach. Perhaps the most significant issue is its predictability. For those familiar with the story, the lack of narrative surprises may diminish the film's impact. While Eggers' execution is masterful, the adherence to the original's plot leaves little room for innovation. In addition, adding eroticism to the characters, especially in the performance of Lily Rose Depp, enhances the feeling of superficiality. It is also worth noting that the main conflict of the film is presented as an irresistible desire for evil, but without pronounced philosophical or topical overtones. Visually, the film is impressive. The stylistics of the early 20th century, monochrome dreams, references to pre-Raphaelite painting, but suspense and magic disappeared, leaving behind a dry gloom and terrible cruelty. This is not Coppola's masterpiece, or even the original Nosferatu. It's an experiment that many viewers are likely to be interested in only once. Nosferatu 2024 is a film that demands to be seen, both as a tribute to a cinematic classic and as a modern Gothic masterpiece. While it's not without its flaws, its strengths far outweigh its weaknesses. Eggers has crafted a visually stunning and thematically rich adaptation that honors its source material while standing on its own. For fans of horror, Gothic fiction, or cinematic artistry, Nosferatu 2024 is an experience not to be missed.